Alright, boys, we got parts. I'm gonna we'll open them up, see what we got here. Let me pause you. Christmas. Jennifer wants to open the small box first, so that's what we did. I think this is the carrier. Nope. Look at this. Stub shafts. Yeah. Carrier for the front. See what's in here. That box is big. Oh, shit.
That's better.
Alright. Tell y'all where I got this stuff at, because these people were good to work with, man. We ordered this stuff Friday night when I got home from work, and it showed up today's Tuesday.
Yes.
These are the lockers. Gear sets. You see them stacking it too high?
Yeah, they're too high.
Recon wheel bearings, Recon studs. I'll have to get longer studs. Box out of the way.
Scoot everything down.
Alright. Spartan lockers. That's what I ended up going with, because it was $1,200, or around about that much cheaper. We'll see how they work. Oh, it comes with a pin too. That's good. Spartan locker for. Looks like for the 30. No, that's for the 825. Yep, 8.25 Spartan locker. Alright, camera malfunction. Spartan locker for the front. That's all the clicking and popping you hear. Remember I was telling you they're going to pop
And
and
a
flip?
little, okay.
Yeah. We'll see how they hold up. When you're a mechanic, it's kind of rough when these things pop and click and all that stuff they do. You think something's wrong. But maybe I'll get used to it. I had to get the carrier that ain't a 30 carrier for the 373 down to, we got 456 gears is what we ended up getting. We already told you all that. There's the lockers. Recon wheel studs, which I think I'm gonna have to get bigger, longer, because of the disc brakes on the back. But we'll see. Maybe not. Wheel bearings for 825. This is a gear set for 456. 456 for the 8.25. See how this opens. These are supposed to be pretty complete kits, which I hope they are. Yep. And damn, the pinion's huge still. Ain't real small. That's pretty good. I want to see that 30. It's pretty good size pinion gear. Nice and beefy down there too. Oh yeah. Alright. That's the ring and pinion for 85. Let's look at the 30 pinion. That's what I'm concerned about. But I've seen a 488 pinion already and it scared me. It was about big as the end of a screwdriver. Plenty of stickers. We can be label whores.
Yeah, I like being a label whore.
That ain't too bad. Ooh, Lord, yeah it is. Oh my God. This is what scares the shit out of me about low gear ring pinion gears and a 30. Look at that. Oh my God. Holy shit, I hope we don't break this thing. But my buddy Justin's got 488s in his and it's even smaller. And he's been riding his, so as far as breaking it from here to here, that would be pretty hard. Maybe up in this area, but it looks like it's radiused good. Man, that's little. Good Lord. Make sure this is 456s. Alright. These are USA standard gears. I was gonna get shoot, I forget the name of it, Revolution, because that's what my buddy got, and he said good luck with them, but they were out of stock. So the people we ordered them from, it was Rock USA.
RWKHAUS.com.
They had
And they got a year warranty.
let's see what kind of bearings they are. It says USA bearings. I don't know about that though. They're not USA made bearings, they can't be. I guess they could be. That'll be nice too, having a damn gasket instead of having a silicone every time. I want to show y'all something too. On the Dana 30, I found out that it's been causing me a problem. It's probably causing y'all a problem. ARB and a bunch of the diff cover manufacturers is going to figure this out. And that I'm a genius or nothing, but I'm definitely not. Alright, it's got the slinger in there. Pretty good, pretty good. New bolts for the ring gear. Alright, let's set that over there. Now, let's look at these axles. Now. I think these are the rear axles. Let's see. Open them up a bit. These are the fronts because they're CU joints. 760 joints. 760s sponsors. Tube seals. I'm gonna get those seals. I'll tell y'all about that in a minute too. I'm gonna get them seals for the tubes, the tube seals. Because when I pulled my axles out, they were ruined from mud. The whole damn tube was full of mud. I mean compacted. I had to snatch the axle out of there. That dang clay, man, gets in everything. Short side. '27 spline, 84 to 01. These are lifetime. I don't know if y'all can see that there. 4340 steel. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Long side. Yeah, man, right there is where you have your problems at. In this area. Every time I've ever seen an axle break, it rips out right here. It probably breaks the U-joint, and then but this will help the U-joint stay in there. And pretty beefy. These are 27 spline. I know I told you I was gonna get 30 splines, but one of my viewers told me, you know, if you do that, then you got to go get a special axle to have a spare. And he was right. That's pretty damn beefy there. I don't think you're gonna snap that too easy. The U-joint will go before the axle does anyway. Every time I've ever seen it happen. When I was mud racing, we never did break the axle. We always broke the U-joint, tore the whole damn knuckle up. Let's look at those rear axles.
You want to just put it back in that box?
Yeah, I'm going to. I ain't really gawking at them. Now let's look at the stub shafts. Ooh, way. Pretty. Pretty. Oh yeah. Yeah, see how that's machined? That is freaking nice right there. This is where they break to. I've seen them breaking here. But that is a fine piece. 4340 steel. And there's some fat in here. Hell yeah. We put 38s on there. We don't need all this stuff if the pinion can hold up. Alright, let's get the rear axles in for them. That's what I want to see. Oh, these are drilled like several different ways. Cool. You know, I still ain't seen no kind of packing slip in there. I mean, I know everything's here and everything, but there's no packing slip nowhere.
It may be what he emailed me to check it against.
Alright, let's look at these bad boys. These are what I'm worried about. I mean, this is what I would be worried about the most with my Jeep. You break one of these with a C-clip rear end is coming out. And that ain't no fun. Can y'all see me?
No. There you go.
Yukon 5 lug 29 spline, that's it. Oh yeah. There's the axles. Looks sweet. There's where that's good there, man. That's nice. It's radiused up in here, but right here is what you gotta worry about. Now, I don't like how they did that, but it's just touched it, and it ain't did nothing damage. It's just touched it. Let's see if the C-clips fit on them. Test that real quick. Make sure you got that right. Yep. That's right. Anyway. Shit in here.
It scared me.
It does have a little ding on the end of it. Look at that. It does have a little ding, but it ain't affecting none. That's why I checked to see if the C-clip would go in it. But these have a warranty on them too. I don't know exactly what it is. I'd have to look it up. But the fronts are lifetime. But these aren't 4340. I think these are 1540 alloy or some shit. Let's see if it says right here. Made in India. Why can't we make crap like this in the United States? I don't fucking know. No damn sense. But anyway, good wheel bearings. These hopefully will be better than the ones I can get from the parts store, because the ones you get at the parts store, they don't last long. They get loose on you, and it's bad when they do that because they'll tear your axle up. That's that. Seals, spacer joints, and hopefully these. Yep. They still C-clip from the inside. You know, whatever. I've seen some that clip on the outside. I kind of like that better, but if it moves, it's going to break anyway. So, anyway, there you go. Let's look at this thing here again. Anyway, my honey hooked us up with this stuff, and to be honest with you, I probably would have ordered one little piece at a time, but she don't work that way. As you can tell by my Jeep, she likes to get everything at one time. I don't think these are going to be long enough. At least I know the thread pitch and all, so that's going to be easier on me getting the good stuff, the right stuff. And this was in a Yukon box, but I don't know. I guess it could be a Yukon carrier. It don't matter. Hopefully it's a little better steel, because what I worry about with a lunchbox locker, and it will happen, and some of y'all probably seen it happen, it'll waller that hole out right there eventually. Which I don't drive mine on the street, so it don't really matter. Let me pause you till the train goes away. It'll take me long to make a mess. I didn't realize this is going to be made by Yukon, but it is. I should have got one for the rear, just where it's beefed up in here. I mean, I don't really know that it is any different. We ought to check that out and look at it and see. I want to look at this stub shaft right here. It's been a long time coming for this stuff, guys. Shit's so expensive, man. Gives me heartburn thinking about buying this stuff. My Jeep did all right like it was, so I was always content with it. But it could be better. I mean, there's been situations that if I had lockers, I would have went on, you know. It's got a real good thrust surface too. Yeah, it looks good. For the wheel bearing, the back side of the wheel bearing, I like that. It's pretty nice stuff, man. Yeah, I like that. Compared to the stock stuff. I mean, them stock axles are strong though, man. I'm telling you. They're Spicer axles. They're strong. Them stock ones are. These anyway that take the 760 joint. You know, I think it's 96 up. The high pinions have good axles in them. And anyway, let me show y'all what I was talking about. Let's look at something up there. Yeah, it's the same. But I'm going to get those tube seals, because the whole axle tube, when I pull the front axle out of this thing, where's it at? What do I do with them? I don't know what I did with them now. My buddies might have done come and confiscated them. No, there they are. There's nothing wrong with these axles. I mean, for what I do, don't tell the old lady, these axles have probably been fine with some good joints in them. I mean, they're strong. They're not as strong as 4340 steel, but they're strong axles. There ain't no doubt about that. I'm going to save them for spares. But what I was talking about with the tube seals, the whole tube in there was full of mud. I'm talking about completely compacted, full of mud. So I'm gonna get them tube seals. I know I've heard they squeak and stuff, but I don't drive this thing on the street that much, so it ain't gonna matter to me if they, you know, I'll keep them greased. I grease this thing every time I take it out. I treat it like it's a tractor. Anyway, what I was gonna show y'all on Dana 30 that I found. And other people, y'all know this, a lot of y'all probably do, but these things are, when you're trail riding with this thing, or any of these, that hole, hope y'all can see it, I don't know, there's a hole up here, little tiny hole. That's where your ring gear throws oil up in there, right? So if you're going slow speed, and when you change your gear ratio, that pinion's going to be spinning way faster than it was before. And all this stuff designed to kind of trap the oil up in there, but you're not getting as much oil when you're riding in the trails. And in reverse, it's not, you know, when you're hammering on it wide open in reverse, where we're at, if you're going back and down a hill or something, there ain't really no load on it. But for what I do, backwards, forward, trying to get out of a spot, that bearing, those bearings are air catch hell. So I'm gonna get those high field covers for it, where the oil level will be, you know, up here. And I know it won't work that good on the street, because a buddy of mine's got one and his wants to puke some out on the highway. But like I said a while ago, I don't ride on the highway that much. I mean, hell, I might once to see how it steers. But I'm gonna get the high field cover for the rear. I mean, for the front, and maybe for the rear. I don't know about getting one for the rear, because, you know, the low pinion's made different, and the oil's down. It's down in the oil, the pinion is, so it ain't so apt to. Which mine is kind of kicked up in the front from my pinion angle. But anyway, guys, I guess this weekend, I think what I'm gonna do, instead of getting under there like I always do and building it up underneath the Jeep and out and back and forth, I think I'm gonna pull that rear end out, and I'm gonna put my other vise here up on the bench over here, and we can set him right in there like that, boom, and it'll be in our face. And maybe I can video some of it, show y'all setting it up and stuff. Now the rear axle, I'm gonna try, I got a buddy that's got a machine shop, and a trick that I've always done over the years with different rear ends, 70s and stuff like that, or 60 with 70 axles, I've did that, is this is your weak link, your crush sleeve. In the rear end, any rear end that's got a crush sleeve, that's your weak link, because when you're traveling forward, your forward load is pushing back against this bearing. Well, when you throw it in reverse and you hammer down on it, it's trying to push it that way, right? And that bearing, you know, most of the time it's going to hold and not do anything. But if you get enough torque in that rear end to crush that down a little bit more, because I think it takes like maybe 300 foot-pounds, maybe less than that, I'm not sure, but it takes a pretty good bit to crush this. But if you crush it out in the woods by reversing forward, and you crush that down, you're going to lose your preload on your bearings, and then it's going to eat the ring and pinion up. So I'm probably going to take this to a buddy of mine. This one's crushed to where it needs to be for the preload. I mean, it's not going to be perfect, I'll still have to shim it. But if you do this, you got to chalk it up in a lathe, a piece of metal like tubing, 250 wall or something like that, and you got to get this faced. You got to get this front faced on a lathe to length like this. That way, when you crush it, it's preloading that upper pinion bearing, you know, straight, perfectly flat. Because if you just try to cut one on a bandsaw or whatever and you got it off, it's going to preload your bearing weird and it ain't going to work. You can do this. In the race truck out there we've got the rear end done this way. And I've did different rear ends over the years like that. And we'll see. I might use the crush sleeve. I don't know. I mean, this is a pretty healthy one here. It's thick and it's small, you know, but some of them Chevy rear ends, they got crush sleeves that big in them, you know, and they're thinner material. And I think the 8.8's got one in it too. I don't remember. It's been many years since I built one, but I quit the Mustangs 10 years ago. But I built a lot of 8.8s, but I really don't remember, you know, what the crush sleeve looked like in it. But anyway, I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna get a piece of tubing, probably 250 wall. See if I can get my buddy to face it off for me this width, and then I'll shim it like you do the front to get my preload, and then this weak link will be out of it. And also I'm going to get the diff cover for the rear end of this thing that's got the 8.8s too. If y'all got an 8.8 in your Jeep, you need to get this diff cover because they do help. The diff cover that's got the screws that go in to the caps, and they rest on the caps, and you torque them to, like, I think it's 20 or 30 foot-pounds. It don't sound like much, but if you put that pin on there from that set screw, torque him down, it's holding all that diff cover bolts pushing in on it, and it'll just help it. It ain't gonna keep it from really kicking out of there or nothing, but it'll help it. We always ran them on the Mustangs when they came out with them. Anyway, guys, this is my Christmas. Well, not really. I just got the stuff, and I'm glad I got it. I'm excited. I'm gonna get that rear end out of there, and we're gonna get up there and do it right. And that way I ain't gotta climb in and out from under that thing 100 times. Which I'll show y'all how I set up a rear end and how I do it. It might not be the way everybody does it, but it's the way I do it, and it's always worked for me. I mean, I'm gonna get my pinion depth, do a little bit of research and see what these are set up at. They might be about 10 thousandths deeper or something like that, but or shallower. But I'm gonna set up my pinion depth, check it on the front and the rear, and we'll start at that point. And usually if you start with the shims that you already had in your carriers, you'll be close, and then you can go back and fine tune it and get your bearing preload right, get your backlash right, make sure it's cutting right in the teeth, and it'll live. This, and actually from the factory, was a little high in the teeth for my liking. But anyway, guys, there you go. Bunch of damn parts, and we get this thing locked up with some good axles under it. I'm also going to get a shifter. One of my viewers had told me about, and sent me a message telling me about it, and I knew it, didn't even know it existed. But there's a shifter you can buy for these things that puts reversing first right there, bam, 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 you know, straight shot instead of having to push a button, all that stuff. It's gated. And then also it's got a little mini lever that goes on the side where you can manually shift it and do away with the body control module for the transmission control module, what we call on this, because I want to do away with that where I can keep it in what gear I want it in, and I ain't got to worry about getting it wet in the floor no more. And I'm going to get that too. I don't know when. We still got to get the seals for the front axles and wheel bearings and brakes and stuff for the rear. New rotors. Probably get new rotors for the front too because they wore the hell out. Brakes and all that stuff, and get this thing back on the trails where we can make some movies. All my buddies have been going out without me, and it sucks a big time. Now I want to get the 38.5s too. I mean, I don't know when that'll happen because that shit's expensive too. But I tell you what, dude, if I'm buying tires, it don't bother me as bad to spend that kind of money because I know how much of a difference tires make. Now the lockers are going to make a difference, and the gear ratio is going to help that transmission from wanting to burn and slap up every time I'm getting out there and get in a bind. I mean, it did it though. Everybody said it wouldn't. It ain't going to work. It's going to do this. It's going to do that. It worked for 2 damn years. I drove it to North Carolina. I went at Jeep Fest up there, went through the obstacles. We come back and we wheeled this thing in the woods, in the mud, just beating the hell out of it for 2 years with stock gears and 36s on it. And nobody said it would work. And I tell you what, that thing has been some places that'll scare you in them swamps following 44s. But that's what I want to tell you guys. If you got a bunch of buddies and you don't have the money for all this crap, these gears and lockers and all that shit, you ain't got to do that, man. You can wheel it and have a good time. I can be honest with you, it will last way longer with open diffs. You're not going to break stuff. You're not going to break drive shafts and shit like that because you're not connected to the ground as hard. Yeah, you might get stuck on an incline or something like that a lot easier, but get a winch and you saved yourself $2,300. I had to do it because I can't drive this thing on the street. I have to keep it in drive, and it's torturing my transmission, and I wanted lockers. So I wheeled it for 2 years. I wore it out, and that's what I wanted to do. Once it was wore out, I'd fix it. But if anybody tells you you can't run a 355 gear with a damn 6-cylinder and put 36s on it and it won't work, you can tell them different, because it will work. Hell, back in the day when I was young, when I was in my 20s, I didn't have the money for all that crap. I used to run 40s with a 273 gear in a Chevrolet and a 4-speed with a 205 transfer case, and it would raise hell, buddy. If you don't have the money to waste, because it's not a waste, but if you don't have the money for this kind of stuff, because I've been there, you wheel what you got, and that's what you do. That's what I have always done. And if this thing wouldn't have got all worn out and everything on it needed work, I done re-shimmed the front pinion 3 times, the preload on the pinion bearings 3 times, I'd kept on wheeling it if it wouldn't have been wore out. But I think this is going to be a big improvement on it. Maybe some of them hills we couldn't get up and some of that stuff, we'll go up it now, hopefully. And we get through bumping it out and giving it some more down in the front with some better shocks and stuff. She ought to be pretty tough, man. But I like this old Jeep. I've had hot rods, I've had drag cars, I've had box Chevys and step side Chevys, and I had a CJ with a 383 in it and half-ton axles under it with 35 boggers. It was cool, and that bitch would go anywhere too, but you could tell you went anywhere when you got back. I like the Cherokee. This has been one of my favorite projects that I've did since I've been building stuff, and I've been building things since I was 15 years old, probably younger than that. I built my first truck, I was 15. I bought it for $200. It was an old Ford Courier. Most of y'all probably don't even know what that is. And I totally went through it from front to back, just like I did this Jeep. I pulled the little engine out of it, I rebuilt it, I resealed the transmission, I painted it, I redid the interior, I did a custom interior on it. Back then, that's when the mini trucks was out, and that's what it was, mini truck. It was lowered and all that stuff. And I built that when I was 15 with budget money. I'm talking about no money. And but it's what you do, man. You make it work. There's a lot of young guys that watch my channel and comment on my stuff, and I know this stuff is hard to get. It's hard for me to get, and I work full time and my wife works full time. It's hard to get this stuff, and I don't want to be putting all this stuff out here and bragging, oh, I got this and I got that, and this is the coolest stuff, because that's JK stuff. I don't do that. I wheeled my stock XJ with 36s on it, and it was respected by a lot of people. But now that we got this stuff, the only reason I got it is maybe it'll go a little bit further, because there's some spots out in the woods that I haven't been able to go through. Every time I get out there, I get stuck, and I'm gonna see if this makes a difference. And the best thing of all is it'll all be new under it again, and we don't have to go to the junkyard and get shit. But guys, I want to tell you one more thing. I'll let you go. Those Stinger bump stops I told y'all about, the Daystar Stinger bump stops, I ended up canceling the order on those things because I found out that they're not sealed units. You think the most cylinder bump stops has got seals in them and stuff because they're hydraulic or they're air or something like that. Well, these, the Stinger ones, have the pucks in there, and they would probably work really, really good, but not for me because water level. I'm in water up to here all the time. I could just see them filling up with water, getting rusted inside because it's a mild steel tube, and going to waste. And I can't justify spending $400 or more than that right at. Anyway, my camera died on me. Anyway, guys, we got all our stuff for the axles. We'll get it under there. We'll get back on the trails. What I was saying about those Stinger bump stops is they're not sealed units, and the mud and the water would probably ruin them. I mean, I didn't want to test the theory for $500, so I'm gonna bump it out normally, you know, with the normal stuff, and you do it like that. I was pretty excited about this stuff. It's been a minute. I've had some time to calm down, but I'll tell you what, man, I've got some money in that Jeep, and I don't want you younger guys to think, I guess what I was saying earlier is that you got to have all this shit to go. You don't. I mean, I got it because my shit was wore out, and you know, it was time, but I put it through its paces with that stock stuff in there. I tortured it, man, and there's a lot of people that said, man, that thing ain't gonna do nothing. You know, it ain't gonna do this, it ain't gonna do that, but it did. And if you get online, and I used to say in my videos, don't let the forums get you down, get in there and figure it out. Well, I quit saying that because there is some good stuff on those forums, and you could tell the people that know what they're talking about because they're respectful to you and stuff. Older guys like me that spent money they didn't need to spend and stuff like that. You know, for you younger guys that want to have fun and actually learn a trade, you know, if you get an old Jeep and you keep that thing running and you have it for a few years and don't give up on it, by the time a few years get by, man, you'll know everything there is to know about a damn Jeep and how to work on stuff, how to take a drive shaft out, put U-joints in it, how to do brakes, how to do diff changes, how to do transmission services and stuff that guys my age, I'm 43. When I was young, in my teens and coming up in my 20s, everybody was mechanics. My whole family's mechanics. All the people I knew, it came natural to me. I mean, it was just, my grandfather is 90 years old. He's 92 years old. He was in World War II. He was a crew chief for I think it was a P-51 Mustang. And that's my roots, was that old man. And he's still alive, and he's still sharp. And he taught me a lot of stuff. But if you get something like this, I started out with mini trucks, and I learned how to paint. I learned how to do interior. I learned how to build engines. Matter of fact, when I first started with my first lift truck company, they had me rebuild the engine on a Yale, and it was kind of a test. Well, I opened the hood on that Yale, and guess what was sitting under there? A Mazda FE engine, the same engine that was in that Ford Courier that I'd built when I was 15 years old. And guess what? I knew right how to build that damn thing because I took the other one apart 10 times before I got it worked right. So I bumped that thing together and it ran perfectly, and I never looked back. And I've made good money over the years being a mechanic. And what I'm saying is, you get an old Jeep for $900 and have everybody tell you how shitty it is, and then you build it and make it do what you want it to do for cheap. Why they're still in the junkyard? Now's the time, man. All these Jeeps are going to the junkyards, and you younger guys, go stock up. Because I'm telling you right now, back in the day, when I was running the 5.0s, nobody liked them just like they don't like the Jeeps. But I had me one, and that sumbitch was bad too. But back then, you could go to the junkyard and get a short block 5.0 out of a Lincoln or whatever and spray it with nitrous till it popped and outrun a bunch of people that had better stuff than you. And you just go to junkyard and get another one. And I did that stuff too. But you get these Jeeps now, the XJs, and you can go to junkyard and get anything for it right now. But that's going to go away. So how many Wranglers you see in the junkyard or JKs you see in the junkyard? You don't see them. Because if there's a market for it, there's people that buy them. There ain't no market for these because everybody don't like them. You know, they're not real Jeeps, they say. But that is the toughest Jeep that I've ever had. Hands down. Hands down. So I guess what I was trying to say is, you younger guys, go get, if you like your XJ, stick with it. Go to the junkyard, get your parts, and in a few years you'll have the knowledge to maybe work at 4-wheel parts one day, because bolts are bolts. Everything comes apart and goes back together, and once you figure one thing out, all the rest of it just comes right to you. But anyway, I'm rambling. I'm kind of excited about my new parts. My honey bun's a good old girl. Gets me shit before we even get hers back going good. But y'all take it easy. Next video, I'm going to be pulling that rear end out of there, I'll probably spare y'all all that. You already seen it one time, and I'm gonna put it up on there on that bench, and I'll see if I can video it and show y'all how to set these things up. There's an art to it, and you can do it by the book and it'll come out perfect, and that's really all you got to do. But I'll show you the way I do it. And anyway, you guys take it easy, and I'll talk to you later.